Hey everyone, my name is Rose and welcome back to another video. So quite a few people have been asking me recently how I edit my videos and if I can give them tips on how they can make their montages similar to mine. So this video is basically going to be a tutorial going over how I edit my montages. Hopefully you guys learned something new from this and maybe use some of these in your montage. So without further ado, let's begin. Alright, so really quick before this video starts, as I was editing, I noticed that there were parts that I was just going over a lot faster than I should have, and I just wasn't doing as great of a job as explaining things and teaching them, going through things thoroughly as I could have done. So if there's something that you wanted to know about that I went over too fast and you have any questions about it, just let me know and I'll make sure to answer them with as clear as an explanation as possible. I also want to apologize for sounding tired throughout the video. I really don't know why. I don't remember being tired, but I guess apparently I was. Now with that out of the way, I'll let you guys get right back to the video. Alright, so first things first, we want to create a new project. Once we're in the new project screen, we can choose a theme. You can download a couple from the store, or there's just the basic PlayStation ones that there are here. It really doesn't matter which one you use because we're going to get rid of the theme clips anyway, but a couple of themes have their own fonts that look better for some things if you want to put text in montages. So I'm going to use the Days Gone one since it has the Days Gone font. Once we're on this screen, we just want to get rid of, I guess, the top three. Keep one of them in so we can at least work on it. And then here we are into the project. So first we want to add in a clip right here. Then once we're here, we can add in our gameplay clips. I recorded a couple games yesterday for this montage. I didn't get a win, unfortunately, but I'll just use one of my other wins that I have. But mainly we're just going to be using these clips that I recorded yesterday, specifically for this. So what we're going to do is we're going to add in our first clip. I'd recommend doing one at a time so you don't have like a giant project. So we're going to add in one clip at a time like this. So now that we have the base video, it's time that we add the music for it. So to add music, we just go over here, hit add music, and then we're presented with a couple songs that are on here by default in case you want to use any of these. Or you can import a song via USB. The song we'll be using for this one is called Beyond Empty from the band We Are the Empty. Something that I like to do before I get started with it is just take a good listen to the song and just kind of brainstorm in your head how you want to put it all together. Now this isn't something you have to do. I mean, you can just go in and just edit out as you hear. You don't even have to sync it up, but the way I edit my montages, I like to sync it up, so I give it a good listen before I start, just so I have an idea as to how I want to do it. Now that we have all of that, it's time to get ourselves some good clips for this. So pretty much the whole time I'll be editing, I'll use the split clip tool just so I can easily split a clip if I want to, like this, and then just get rid of it like that. You don't have to do that, but that's just what I do. Now first, I like to start off with a good intro clip. Usually for the intro clip, I'll just use me parachuting into the map since it's kind of like a good introduction to like the game and works well for intro to the montage. So now we get this right here. Now what I'm going to do now is have the video kind of just fade into this from the start. So what I'll do is I'll add a screenshot, do the solid color one, and then go to settings and change the color to black. Then from there I can add a transition, go down to dissolves, and then crossfade. I'll then trim the clip to as short as possible, and then it fades in just like that. So now that we got that, I'm going to add in a filter right here just to kind of go with the slower theme at the start of it. So there's a couple filters we can add in that would fit well here. We could do black and white, we could do a blur filter. There's a couple things that we could do. So for this I'm going to use the blur filter just because it kind of works pretty well here. Now what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take the audio and just turn it all the way down so that, you know, you don't hear the background noise of the intro clip right here. And it's just the music. Other parts of the montage will have songs so you can like hear the gunshots and everything, but just for the intro we're going to have that. Something we can also do here is go to the time blender and then turn down the play speed to half so that it's like slow motion at the start. Now there are a couple other things that we can do for an intro clip like this. If you've seen the montage chains, you know that for the intro I had done a cinematic kind of shot. So I'm basically going to try to recreate that right here. Now for that we're just going to find a spot where I'm kind of driving, not really fighting, not going over bumps, just kind of casual driving. We're going to take that part and just copy it and then grab that copied part and just move it over. Now once we got this, we're gonna go over to the pan and zoom option over here, and we're just gonna zoom in into a spot where there's no HUD, it's not our Jeep, just nothing, it's just kind of all clear like this. So this part right here looks pretty good, so I'm gonna use this bit right here. Now after that we're gonna put back on the blur filter, And now I kind of have this blurry little intro right here. Since right here is where the voice says I'm beyond empty, we're gonna split it right here and then just get rid of the rest of it. After that, I'm gonna add a screenshot, solid color, and then make it black. So now if we watch it,
I'm beyond empty.
it kind of stops like that. Now something we can do with this as well, to make just add a little bit more to this, is we can go over to add overlay, go over the text, and then just add text saying I'm beyond empty to go along with it. Now you can just type it in and then line it up right into the middle. Now that we got it lined up, we can just go over the text animation, just add a little bit more to it, go to beginning animation, and just do one of these so it kind of like fades in a little bit.
I'm beyond empty.
For this one, I'm going to use the wipe in effect right here. Then again, we're going to sync it up with the music and just kind of trim the clip down. And now that we got that, we can make the clip a little bit longer over here and just fade, and then we can fade into the next one. We can transition in between these two clips right here, just as a fade, so it kind of fades the text a little bit.
Empty.
Now I like to use a little bit of driving kind of leading up to it, so we're going to do it right here. Now right here, all we're really going to be doing is just syncing it up with the music. So all I did right here is cut the clip, and then I moved a little bit further in the driving, and just made it sync up with the music. So now all I did for this part was just line it up with the music. Now for this bit, I kind of, a little bit off camera, got my own cinematic clip, since this is a little bit my first time doing this. But I will show you guys how I did it. So doing this part right here, honestly, isn't too terribly hard at all. Since there's no, like, easy way to get cinematic shots at all in H1, what I've done is I went into weapon training with my friend, and I just had him get a couple angles of me over here firing the M40. And we got a couple different angles of this until I decided it was best. Then after I had him lined up, I went into pan and zoom, and I just zoomed it on me so you wouldn't see him or any of the HUD. Just like that. And then I just put it all together, put a little bit of a shake effect in it, and this is what it came out with. So yeah, not too terribly hard, a little bit tedious to do since there's no way to do cinematic shots easily in H1, but it's definitely very much possible. Now, to add a little bit more to this, I'm going to add in a blur filter for this, just to add a little bit more of it fading. And now an effect that I like to do on a lot of my montages is kind of this like zoom in and then zoom out into the next clip sort of transition. Now the transitions in SHAREfactory, they're alright, but they're not my favorite. These dissolve ones are pretty good, I've used these a couple times, but all the other ones are just not really my favorite. So what I do for them is I go into add overlay, go over to camera effects, I go over to focus, and then I just bring it all the way to the end and turn the duration all the way down. Now to give it this kind of zoom in and then zooming out into the next kind of effect like this. Now to make the effect a little better, you can always go into it and then go in the camera settings and turn this up to about 80, because after you get to about 80, it's just going to be kind of sitting still, like that. So about 80 is what you want to do, so that it keep moving throughout the whole time. Actually 75 might be a little bit better for that. Yeah, so go to about 75. It's just a little bit of a touch, but it makes things look a lot better. Now something I recommend doing is just while you're working on the montage, go back and look at the progress you have so far. That way if there's any mistakes that you didn't catch or if just something looks out of place, you can go back and fix that before you put everything else together. So now everything looks good, we can continue to work. Now one thing you guys might have noticed is that for this clip I have kind of the black bars on the bottom and top that I usually have for all my montages. Now a lot of times when I'm making montages, I prefer not to put these in until the end, just because it makes it a little harder to see, which can make editing a bit more challenging. But doing that is pretty simple. So what you do is you go over to the clip, and then you go over to add layout, and then you go over here to the aspect 2 one. It definitely helps with the overall look of the montage. Now here we're just going to be adding in different clips to kind of sync it up with the music. So I'm going to do that really quick, and then I'll show you guys exactly how I did that. Alright, so this little bit's put together, so I'll show you guys basically how it looks now. now I said that's pretty good, but I want to add a couple little more effects, just make this a little bit more better. So one effect that you may have seen in my couple of montages is kind of just, it's just these particles moving from left to right on the screen. Now basically for that, I just downloaded a green screen effect with those particles, and then I just put it together in Montage. So as you can see, I added it. You can kind of see the little particles going there. So now what I do is I go to layout, and I do a full screen, press triangle, and then press X, and then I can go to green screen, which will cut out all the green screen. Now something that you can do to help make this stand out more is go back to this green screen section, then go over to settings, then turn the feathering all the way down like this, which will make it stand out a lot more. And you can mess with this a bit in case you want it to stand out more, but not too much, kind of like that. Then after that, you can go into so it doesn't have that kind of green edging. You can go to filter and just add in a black and white filter. So now that we have that, I'm going to end it right over here, just so it's not playing throughout the whole thing. Now other things that we can do to make this just a little bit more, just to add a little bit more of an effect to this, is we can go into filter, and we can go down to the VHS one. Then here we go down to edit filter, settings, and we turn distortion all the way up, and then static all the way down. Now if we do this, you can see the same effect that I used throughout pretty much the whole entire montage in Glitch 1Z1. It looks really good in my opinion, and it can work really well depending on what song you're using. Alright, so now we have all this, and we can move on to the next section. Now something I completely forgot to do during the intro is when I added the blurry text, I wanted to make sure I added like kind of an introduction, welcome to the montage, all that kind of stuff. So now we got the text in there, we can just move it around to as we'd like to. Now we can change the duration of the text and just kind of have it a little bit like this so it comes in a little later. Then once we get that, we can go into animation and just make it fade in and out. So now the intro should look something like this.
And beyond empty.
Now you can edit it a bit to make it look how you want it to be, but for now we're just going to leave it like this and get on with the rest of it. So for this clip, what I'm doing is I'm going to be syncing up the filters instead of the actual clips themselves right here. So right here you can see the filter starts off kind of black and white, but right as the car blows up, I change it to a more vibrant looking filter. And I'll show you guys how it looks right now.
My holy body.
And you can change this one to make it a little more intense. You could do this one right here. You can do anything, but for now I'm just going to use the amber filter. So then we're going to split the clip right here once it goes with the music again.
Sacrifice my only sense.
And we're going to kind of do the same thing for this one. So for this part, we're going to be putting the clip in slow motion until the song starts to build up. Then right here, before we get to the kill, we're going to add a screenshot and just make it black. That'll kind of give it like kind of a break right there. All it really is just lining everything up with the music. So I'll show you how that looks.
Sacrifice my only sense. Why am I looking through the past now?
And then right here we can trim this a little bit just so it goes on sync with the shot itself. Then right here we're just going to be adding another clip. And then right here all I done was just sync it up with the word go.
When everybody's on the other side, it doesn't matter if we go.
Then for this part all I did was sync it up with the word ghost and no.
If we go with the ghost, if you really want to know.
Then after this I'm going to add another black screenshot. Then for here I'm going to add the words
That you spoke to.
But unfortunately with SHAREfactory there's only so small that you can make the text, which if you listen it goes over the word that you. So to get around this we're gonna have to make a whole new project, and then from here we're gonna add the text. So I'm just gonna use this font right here, put this in the middle, make it a little bigger, make sure it goes all the way to the end. Then we're gonna copy this clip and then we're gonna change the text to whatever the next word is, just like that. So me, that, and then we're gonna we're gonna export the video. Now that we got that, we're gonna add in the new clip, just like this, and we're just gonna trim it down. Make sure you also remember to add in the music so that you know what you're syncing up to. So now we can just trim this down to right here in the middle. Make sure it's all synced up. Now we're gonna add another black screenshot in front of it, and then we're gonna save it, and then get rid of the music, otherwise the music's gonna be overlaying and it'll be a little bit annoying. Now we're just gonna export it. Then you can get rid of these, or just make a new project. But then you add the new exported clip. We're gonna bring this all the way until it says the word me. Then you're just gonna move the music over to it. Then we're gonna trim it right at the word you. Get rid of this clip, and then we'll go to this one, edit overlay, and then change the text to the word you. So now it looks like this so far.
That you spoke.
Then you're going to repeat this process until you have the full line. So I'm going to do that really quick and then come back once it's all done. And then it should sound like this.
No, it wasn't me that you spoke to.
Then right here I'm going to do a crossfade transition. Normally I wouldn't do this, but it syncs up really well with this music here. Then just make sure your next clip is synced up. Another little effect you can do is go into add overlay, camera effects, and then quake. This gives it kind of a shaking effect and can work really well with. I'm gonna do it right here, lining up with the shot, and make sure you turn it down a bit because you don't want the intensity too high. Otherwise, it's a little bit unsettling to watch. So I'm gonna bring it down to 10 and just see how that looks. So for this part, it's me again, more of just singing it up with the words, singing it with the words ocean, motion, inside me, and dying. So I'll show you how I did that right now.
'Cause every time I look into the ocean, I can see the motion of another trying to take hold. Every time you take a look inside me, you can see me dying, but I will never ever let go.
Now for this whole part, I'm going to be adding a vibrant filter to it, so either I can do saturate or I can do clarity. I'll also be putting the green screen filter back on for this part.
Every time I look into the ocean, I can see the motion.
So for this part, I just put in some gameplay clips right here. Nothing really too special, pretty much the same as this bit, just a little bit longer to go with the music.
Never let go. I become beyond empty. We become beyond empty.
For this part right here, I pretty much did the same thing I did earlier with the slow motion effect.
Another carcass.
Just like that, and then I made this one sync up right here as well with the shot. So what I did for this part, I kind of had like it building up with the slow motion right here, and I'll basically show you guys what I said. So for that bit, already it looks pretty good, I'd say. For this right here, I just did the same thing I did earlier as I showed you guys. But for this, I want to have it to where the gameplay is inside the text, and I'll show you guys what I mean. So here we are on a new project. Now if you guys remember, for both Bow Down and Feel Nothing, I had a part where the gameplay was inside of the text. Doing that effect's not hard at all to accomplish, and I would show you guys how to do it right now. So what you guys need to do is get another black screen like this, go into add overlay, and then add what's best, probably the biggest font that you can find, but also looks good. For this, I'm just going to be using the Days Gone font. Basically what you do is you put in the text, so for the song it's going to be saying clock. So once you have it, you just want to enlarge it to about as much as you can. Then after that, you want to change the color of it to pretty much whatever color works besides white, because it doesn't detect white. So then it'll look like this. And I did the same thing for the word now. Then just export this clip. Once it's exported, I'll show you guys what to do next. Now what you want to do is you want to go over to add track, and you just want to add the clip. Now that you have the clip here, make sure to make it full screen, and then go from green screen. Go to green screen. It's more of a chroma key, not really green screen. And then there, now you have that. Next, you want to do go into settings, turn the tolerance all the way up, and then the feathering all the way down, so it's a lot more sharp. And then that's pretty much it. But as you can see, there's a tiny bit of a little red bezel around it. All you gotta do is add the filter, make it black and white, and then there. Make sure to trim it down to how the text is, and this is how it looks. If you want to add a little bit more to it, you can change out the filter. Then what I like to use is the wind filter, and then I'll just go into the settings and just turn this down a little bit. For this one, I'll probably bring it to 50. Now if you're editing like me, then a problem that you're going to run into is this right here. So for SHAREfactory, there's a max limit of 50 clips, as you can see on the left. This is pretty easy to get around. I mean, if you have any extra clips on the end, like how I do right now, you can get rid of them. But easiest way to get around this is just save the video and exit, and then put this into a new project and keep working on it. It'll only count as one clip that way. Alright, so now basically what I've done for this part is I changed the filter to the wind filter, and then I just synced up all these shots with which I'll show you right now. So yeah, that's what I've done for that part. Now for this part is the chorus. Usually for the chorus, I'll just repeat the same kind of editing pattern, so it's pretty much the same as last time, just with different clips. But I'll show you guys it.
Every time I look into the ocean, I can see the motion of another trying to take hold. Every time you take a look inside me, you can see me dying, but I will never ever let go. I become beyond empty. We become beyond empty.
And in case you guys forgot, all I did pretty much just put a clarity filter on all the clips, sync them up with the words, and then use the same green screen particle effect. This part right here is pretty similar to the intro of the video. All I really had done was zoomed in to a certain part of the clip for cinematic shots. But that's what these three are. Then right here I used a rain green screen effect to get that rain filter, which is also the same thing that I did for Feel Nothing during the intro of that. I'm going to show you guys that real quick.
With the sunlight fading and the blue night waning, I let the ocean take me.
So for this part, it doesn't really need much of an explanation, but it's pretty much just me syncing up clips, doing another slow motion one, and then having some text. Pretty simple, but I'll show you guys it.
Become beyond empty. We become beyond empty.
Now for this part, it's again pretty self-explanatory, but all I did was just sync up these 4 clips and then put a filter over them. So for this, pretty self-explanatory, but all I did was just put these 4 clips in, put a filter over them, and a couple little effects every now and then. I'll show you guys it though. And for the last part of the montage is pretty much the chorus again, so I did pretty much the same thing, except for the very end I made it kind of fade out as a blur. So I'll show you that really quick, and then that'll be pretty much it.
Every time you take a look inside me, you can see me dying, but I will never ever let go. I become beyond empty. We become beyond empty.
So yeah, that's it for the montage. I might go back and add a little bit here and there, but that's pretty much it. That's how I edit my montages right there. So yeah, that's the montage complete. So that'll be it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, then please do make sure to check out my other videos. And if you do, then please do consider subscribing. And if you subscribe, hit that bell icon right next to it so you'll be notified every single time content is posted on my channel. Hopefully you guys enjoyed learning how I edit my montages, and hopefully you guys can use some of what you've seen in the video towards yours. If you haven't already, go make sure to check out the full montage. The link will be in the description. At the time of recording, it's not out yet, but it will be out before this video is out. So make sure to check that out if you haven't seen it already. But yeah, that's it. My name is RealAres, and I'll see you guys in the next video. See ya.